there, YouTube? I'm back again today for another Kickstarter critique where I take a look at a different Kickstarter tabletop game project every weekday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to give my honest thoughts on how that project is being ran. And today, I'm slightly annoyed, but still very excited to be checking out the number 3, ooh, that's surprising, thought it'd be higher, number 3 most popular game on all Kickstarter. That is Monster Hunter World Iceborne, the board game. Hunt massive monsters with giant weapons in this co-op boss battling board game based on the hit video. Jesus Christ, Steamforge, when are you going to get this together? At least I will say they did a great job of spotlighting how highly rated the other game is. Take that with an extreme grain of salt, though, because the game just came out less than a month ago for the majority of people, and in fact, not everybody has actually gotten theirs yet. So, I see on the front a bunch of big boxes. I see a dinosaur thing that's kind of like a mini. And it's like player count, time length, age, designer, all that sort of good stuff. And typically, this is where I'd kind of do a breakdown of this. However, with Steamforged games, as the kids would say, I woke up and I chose violence today. Because Steamforged games, I've covered a lot of their stuff before, and I've never heard anything good about them, ever. In 11 years of covering this hobby, I've never heard anyone say anything good about Steamforged games. And so today, before I covered what will be their 7th massive project that has not shipped yet, with this one, I wanted to take a little bit of a tiny dive into what they have out pending. So Monster Hunter World is out, but it's not out to everybody. There's like 137 people that it's not out for, which isn't much. And I can't help but feel that they pushed this out the door really fast, potentially to avoid reviews. You know, I don't want to speculate that, but I've seen a lot of companies do that, where it's like, all right, we got to get the next thing out. We got to get the next thing out before the reviews start coming out for this thing. And so there's some stuff to talk about here. So Steamforged Games, a couple days ago, announced that in March, early March, they had laid off 1/3 of their workforce, which never looks good. And so that made me want to do a little bit of a deeper dive. So the first thing, and I did some notes here, which I'm going to try and keep it concise, is that it's not just 6 projects that they have out pending. Because, you know, in old-timey Kickstarter, back when I was just a boy, Kickstarter used to be you'd kickstart a game, and then boom, the game would come out, and it was just a game. That's not how Steamforged Games or many companies do it now. In actuality, after final count, there's actually 38 boxes of things, if not potentially more, for these 6 games that are supposed to come out. So Elden Rings has a grand total of 6 boxes, and they have a little bit of a controversy here, which I did want to mention because it's really pretty crappy. They have an all-in pledge level. It is quite literally called the all-in pledge level. And then early in March, after they laid off, or right before or during the time that they were laying off 1/3 of their workforce, which, not good, they essentially said, oh, yeah, by the way, that all-in, it's not going to cover some of this other stuff. There's some extra minis, there's a double-layered board, and they quote-unquote in their thing said, dual-layered boards weren't thought of, but now we're adding them. So if you want to lump those into your add-on, it's going to be like an extra $100 probably-ish when you factor in the shipping and whatnot. And I don't want to speculate here, but it really feels like what I talk about all the time, where the company didn't hit all the stretch goals they were expecting to hit, and so now they're like, instead of just scrapping these ideas, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're just going to put them on as add-ons if you want to buy it. We know you already paid us, like $500, but if you want to get more stuff, yeah, so not a good look there. So Elden Ring's not out, but you don't expect that to, but I started to really dig through the comments, as I like to do, and this is where things got really bad, because as I mentioned the quote, dual-layered boards weren't thought of during the campaign. Yet, as Justin, not that guy, Superbacker, and I trust a Superbacker a whole hell of a lot more than I trust just about any company on board games, says that is 1,000% bull crap. They said hockey. I'm going to say crap, because I know 100% both Quackalope and Board Game Co. brought up the dual-layered boards in their videos because Steamforged Games flew a whole boatload of content creators and put them up in hotels and showed them games. And yes, Brandon, or they need more money because making dual-layer boards isn't that expensive, but they can charge a lot as an add-on. And that's kind of what I'm thinking here. When they cut all those people, they're like, oh crap, we're in a lot of trouble, because not only is it Elden Ring, and its 6 massive boxes aren't out, Rivet Wars, and its 9 boxes, at least from what I believed in the counting, is not out. It's not in manufacturing yet. And Euthia and its 9 boxes. And Epic Encounters, which is kind of difficult because it's more like a tabletop role-playing minis thing with its 1 box or 2 box, or it might actually be 10 boxes. And when I say that, I'm not joking, by the way. I'm being completely serious because they have something called... what was it? Local Legend Encounter Sets. And when I hear Encounter Set, that kind of looks like a box, but it doesn't actually show anything because they don't give you a lot of great details on what actually... Yeah, I hate how they do a lot of their Kickstarters anyway. And then we get to RuneScape, which has 6 boxes and six very big boxes. Some of the boxes are like small boxes, but no, these are like big boxes of stuff. And I haven't even factored in the fact they have special GM screens and dice things and a Roll20 module and this, that, and the other things. And all these extra things that they are currently in the process of making and haven't shipped out. Oh yeah, and there's Resident Evil. Resident Evil looks like it's probably gonna come out maybe this year. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I think they are gonna push this one out the door. But that's my long-winded way of saying buyer beware. Like, immediately, just from a personal perspective, I would give this an F. Now, that's not how I run the Kickstarter critique. This is more, how do I feel like this company marketed their product? But I did want to mention all that behind the scenes stuff. And I'm sure there's going to be a litany of things that people post in the comments about poor experiences with Steamforged games, because that's the other thing. As I went through their updates and comments, they have terrible customer service. They're incredibly selective on who they respond to. They have terrible rules and misprints and erratas consistently, because apparently, oh man. And then there was an exclusive that isn't actually an exclusive anymore, and they're just kind of like, oh yeah, but it's not a great company to get in bed with. So if you're not in bed with them yet, probably wouldn't recommend jumping on here. But all that being said, like I said, hate when companies make me do a little bit more work and research into it, because that's lots to sift through. Monster Hunter World Iceborne, the board game. I'd like to know the player length, the time count, the age. I'd like to see you focus on something else aside from the fact, hey, it's going to have 4 boxes of mysteries. Ooh, cool. Whatever. And then 8.1, that does look impressive, and I do like when companies spotlight that, but it's a lot less impressive when you realize that that just came out a month ago, which makes me think that majority of the people that are giving them the ratings, and I did check the Board Game Geek, are 10s and 9s and 8s for people who are just big fans of Monster Hunter, and I know they don't want me to say that, which is why I'm going to say that once again. Yeah. So, Monster Hunter Iceborne, the board game, as always when you go on the marquee, just a complete nothing burger. I understand I'm hunting massive monsters. It's called Monster Hunter. Just, And they did the same thing with Elden Ring, too. Their description on Elden Ring was just god-awful. Just, ugh. Okay, anywho. Back to just professional Kickstarter critique for us. Let's get into the video. Do I want it? Can you do it? How much is it? From that game that was released about a month or 2 ago. So crafting, big minis. I do like that, kind of showcasing how big that mini is in contrast to the other minis. And the minis do look nice, but once again, that's another thing that I have written down here. Just tons of people having tons of issues with minis. And once again, that's kind of be expected when you release a game that has like 100 or 200 minis. They're probably not all going to turn perfect. And once again, that really... Here's the thing about that Elden Ring one. That Elden Ring one where they did an add-on and they completely lied to you and then said, oh, we're actually going to have more add-on stuff after the fact. I'm not going to get into it. Not going to get into it. Focus on this. Focus on that. You guys get it. Steamforged Games, probably not the best company to go with. Focus. Focus. Use your Clutch Claw to get close. So we're spotlighting one specific card here. Okay. So different cards. That looks good. Okay. Brave a frozen world, teaming with monsters in a whole new hunting experience. Apparently the voiceover person was one of the 1/3 of the people that was let go. This is what I was talking about. They flew out a whole bunch of content creators. And apparently that was the other thing they talked about in the article, how they're going to like try and tighten their belt strings, because, yeah, that's pretty expensive. I do like the showing me the massive size of the mini in the hand. Really lingering on the fact people played the game. I do see the massive size of the box. Cool. Do I want it after the video? No, not really. Because here's what I always say when I come to one of these. And it's not just, I'm going to put all the Steamforged games bias aside right now. What does this game look like it does different from any other number of the minis game out there? Like, what does it look like it does different? But are the minis enough to make you forget about the bad rules? Yeah, and that's another consistent thing. Like, I spent like 2 hours just going through all their Kickstarter pages earlier this morning. I don't think I've seen the words home rule and house rules nearly as much. Like, their rule booklets apparently are just not great consistently. But once again, they do have something they do, which is we get the IPs to these video games, we launch them. So can you do it? They got 16 created. They got a whole bunch of people here still, because they got a pretty large workforce. Elden Ring, not out. They just screwed people over. And here's the bottom line. And I do want to clarify on the Elden Ring things. The extra add-ons are not gameplay. They're just minis that you're going to want. And they know you're going to want this. You say, how do they know that? Because nobody buys the entry pledge. 510, that's still a decent number. But the 7,240 people who are completionists, who have already given them 364 pounds, not to mention the massive amount of shipping, not to mention the fact they're going to be paying even more money now. And then the other thing, I don't even think I got into it. Like, never mind. There's just too much. There's too much without doing just a whole video on it. So, can you do it? I'm going to go with I'm just going to go with no. I don't feel comfortable with that. There's 6 other things in line before your $300 to $500 even comes up. And the fact that they had to lay off a third of their workforce, the fact that they're having to now like, hey, we need extra cash, we got these extra add-ons because our stretch goals didn't get hit. No, they didn't say that, but let's be quite honest. Like, really? You didn't, quote-unquote, know people with, like, dual-layered boards? You ran 16 Kickstarters, most of which are minis games, and you're like, people want dual-layered boards? What? What? Oh, man. It's like, that one rubbed me the most wrong. All right, anywho, so can you do it? No, I don't feel comfortable. It's probably going to be middle of the road to good if this comes out, if you're lucky. If you're willing to sift through crap rules, because I can't imagine that the people that wrote the rules, which were already poor. Anyhow, no biases here. Just get into it. 1 to 4 players, 69 minutes, ages 14 plus. I'd love to see it on the marquee. Follow up to the hit Monster Hunter World board game, which still hasn't shipped to everyone out in the world, but most of the people have it. What is this?
You know, which way the monsters are going to go and talk between the party and kind of counter that, which is quite, I guess, different for a board game.
What am I watching?
I think it's a really, really fun game. It's simple to understand, very threatening but beautiful.
You know, but it very quickly made sense.
Okay, so these are all content creators that they flew out and put them up and fed them, saying nice things about their game. Oh, that's a clogged hopper, my friend. It really is. As I mentioned, it breaks down to 38 total boxes, if not potentially more, that they have to ship. And that's not counting these ones as well. Welcome to the 5th Fleet Hunter. A mysterious song is echoing over the New World. But I do, as always, if I'm just a fan of Monster Hunter, I do feel like they've done a good job convincing me. Because, hey, this is 8.1. It's highly rated. They've done it before. I see these content creators. They're playing it. They're saying it's good. They got good-looking minis. Everything looks good until you look beneath the surface a little bit more and scratch the surface, which is why I do this content sometimes. How it plays. So yeah, and here's the other thing. This isn't a sequel or an expansion necessarily. That's the other thing that I wanted to mention, because they're not going to mention it probably. They said you pretty much are going to have to homebrew ways to balance it, because yes, the monsters and the hunters will work from game to game, but balancing could be a potential issue here, which Yeah, who could possibly expect them to do that sort of rule sort of thing? Curious about cross compatibility? Check out the FAQ. Hey, why don't you just tell me here? First time on Kickstarter? No, probably not. Core box only pledge $81. So they did convert the currency. I do like that. So the exclusive box art. Wow, that's a box, all right. So it comes with 4 hunters, 4 extra large monsters, 11 of that, 750 cards, 130 tokens. I do feel like they're doing a good job spotlighting here. And honestly, at that price, $81, I don't feel like it's a terrible price. That's a massive box for $81. Free returning backer kit, add Turf Wars to your Monster Hunter World board game. Cool. Then this is the Hunter's Pledge. This is going to get you 2 massive boxes, once again at the $161 price point, which is very reasonable. Now, I'm very curious as to if they're going to call their all-in pledge their all-in pledge, because they are getting blasted right now in the Elden Ring, rightfully so for the crap they're pulling to try and scrape in a little extra money. And so that's it. So I thought there were more boxes. Oh, you're going to show me more boxes. Ooh, so I can give you more money. That's fun. All exclusive unlocks worth 110 plus bucks. So this is what you're showing me. What we keep scratching. Free includes all. So these are the 2 extra boxes, which we haven't revealed. Free returning backer gift. Add Turf Wars. Okay, so there's 2 pledge levels, clean and clear. There's the all-in at only $161. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. We'll see with the shipping. What's in the boxes? So now we're going to hopefully go more in-depth. Included in the core box-only pledge, the Hunter's Pledge. Hunt monsters, forge weapons, I get it. Sword and shield, how many cards is here? That'd be nice. But once again, you already showed me it was 750 cards. So that's good. I do like that. Like, I want to play this game. I don't even like Monster Hunter the game particularly. But I do. This game looks cool. 100mm base size, convert that to inches. I always say that because, once again, the majority of people backing this are from the United States of America. 1100 to 267 in second place. And I know that millimeters is the standard size that they use for miniatures, but just... And that's the other thing I will say. I have a feeling that part of the reason why they get such good reviews on Board Game Geek, and I noticed this in a lot of their previous comment sections and whatnot, is just because people who love to paint their minis, because they do make, for the most part, really, really nice minis. Game 100% going to back, but I hate the length of the campaign. If there were like 20 days, it would be better. Yeah, they do go for the fear of missing out. That is one thing they absolutely try and capitalize on. And I wonder if they're going to do stretch goals again, and I wonder if they're going to get burned again. So we got minis. I'm just looking at minis. Is that what we're just focused on? Okay, this is the pledge. Just minis, just components, minis. Where's the gameplay? I just want a gameplay video. Where's that 90-minute gameplay? So this is exclusive unlocks. Free with the Hunter's Pledge. So this is if you get the all-in, which once again they're not calling that after the shenanigans they pulled. Together we're tracking down the contents of the boxes to add to the Hunter. Together we're tracking down. Oh, so they're going to try and make it a fun and engaging campaign. And I've seen them do that before. They do some cool updates. We're like, hey, vote on what you think is going on here. So what's been unlocked? It's a Wall of Warmth Poogie. So it's the mini. Is that a card with it too? I don't know. What will we track down next? Join the hunt. It's not clickable. Oh, because you're trying to tell me to go give you money. Got it. No thanks. Try the game. Test your combat skills in the digital demo. Because it's a demo, component rules are not final. Play the rules. Download the rule booklet. Do love that. Oh, this item was deleted. Cool. I mean, would you expect anything else? It's okay. I got me the all-in on the Monster Hunter World board game. It's fun AF. Awesome. Great. That's what I love to hear. How are the rules on it? Because that's the one thing that I hear consistently about their games. Rules, not great. Lots of erratas, lots of misprints. Not lots of them, but more than you would like. Monster...
All right, my little poogies. Jules to get the monsters at the end of your turn. But there's still some action.
Wait, is that the guy? I think that's the guy who used to do a wrestling channel. Oh, man, that's a great wrestling channel. Jules from whatculture.com, is that it? Slumming down with Steamforge. Hey, but I bet they're paying him good cash. Monster Hunter World, so this is...
And then you can take a turn.
So this is them literally teaching content creators how to play the game in somewhere. Cool. Devin Talks Tabletop. Monster Hunter World Iceborne admirably balances the confidence that hunters have the skill set to win the day with the threat that monsters can gain the upper hand at a moment's notice. So, is this actually telling me their opinion on the game? Admirably balances the confidence that monsters have the skill set to win the day with the threat that monsters can gain the upper hand at a moment's notice. So they're saying, "Ooh, look at Jesse in a suit and tie, looking fancy there." Okay, yeah, that quote is what is it? So it's saying you could easily lose or something. I don't know what the hell that's saying. The roaming monster mechanic adds more drama to each fight, while the new item management is another fitting Monster Hunter edition. Now, Ashton, kudos, gets that's a great quote. It's like, oh, cool, roaming monster mechanic, and that's that reminds me of Munchkin, and that's a cool mechanism.
One of my favorite.
First impressions. The turf war mechanic caused a stir when introduced, forcing players to change up their strategy as stray monsters were prone to jump in and join a fight at any time. The board game sees turf wars as an opportunity to keep things exciting and players off their phones as behemoths do battles. So they're saying, hey, you know that... Sorry, gotta stop yelling. You say, hey, you know that terrible downtime there was before? Now it's gone. You just gotta get this $100 game. 10, and I know it's only 82, but with shipping, it's going to be over 100. 10 changes you need to know about, okay? And all these were quite literally filmed in their studio. That's such an interesting thing. I wonder if that's going to be something we see more of. I can't imagine. Just think of the cost of flying all these people out here, because I'm pretty sure this was not in the United States of America. I'm pretty sure this was in a different country, which obviously it's going to be more costly to fly those people out there. I went to a board game press conference.
Board game dad on Vine? Out of 10?
Yeah, I think so, right? That's
You flown out to the UK?
Okay.
We're back.
I actually do want to watch that one. Looks like a cool one. If you're looking for a tight, tense, cooperative campaign, then you don't need to look much further than Monster Hunter World Iceborne, the board game. The cooperative campaign. Okay. I enjoyed the heck out of this game, and I can't wait to see it on my table. Why? This is a standalone board game that takes everything that was nice, that was ace about the original Monster Hunter World, centers the frozen waste, and adds some really cool new features such as surf floors featuring a second monster wandering in the middle of a hunt. Those monsters are monstrous. Once again, I do love the inches. Now we're just showcasing components again. I just want shipping. Gameplay overview.
All right, my little...
Bunch of previews. Whoa, hey, that's a video we've already seen. That's my favorite when you show a video more than once. Before vital information like shipping said no one ever. Select your quest. The monsters you want will determine which loot you earn. So now we're just kind of talking about random stuff in the game. Okay. With 25-day campaign days to spend. Oh, we're still talking about game. But there was a gameplay. There was a gameplay. There, in theory, will be a rule booklet, even though it's not up on day one when you have 15,000 pre-launchers. Pledge Manager, shipping payments will be made in the Pledge Manager, which will be invited about 4 to 8 weeks after the Kickstarter ends. Custom-friendly shipping. So here we go. Lot of talking before we get into the prices of the shipping. If you're based on one of these locations, we'll cover the cost of any customs duty fees. Pledge with confidence. In our 9 years of running crowdfunding campaigns, we've never asked backers to pay more for shipping once. Shipping payments have closed. So say, hey, we're not like Mythic Games. No, we just add stuff after the fact. And we've successfully filled more than... Whoa, what the heck happened there? We successfully filled more than 120,000 something or others. Get it? I just, and here's the bottom line. I just feel really, why did I do all this? Why did I have such a lead up before I did the Kickstarter critique? Because I legitimately am super concerned about this game. Like, that's why. Just, I don't believe that all 7 of the games that they currently have outstanding will probably see the light of day. Based on other companies who have had issues, or I'm not going to call it a Ponzi scheme, but pretty much they needed the money from a Kickstarter campaign to push out another Kickstarter campaign. Because there's the other thing about these projects. It's not just that there's 6 outstanding projects, it's that I think 5 of them, 6 with this one, haven't entered manufacturing yet, like mass manufacturing, which means they still got to pay for that, and they still have to pay for shipping, which is a whole separate ballgame. And if there's any issues at all with any component or cards or misprints, that's extra money that they have to find, and they literally have just posted a giant Zig's like, yeah, we had to fire a third of our people, lay them off, whatever the hell you want to call it, because yeah, despite the fact we, in theory, should be growing because we keep pushing out more and more of these massive projects, we're not. We're actually cutting by a third, and we're screwing over Elden Ring people. Yeah. So, 12 and 20, that's great. Oh, that's UK. Where's the United States of America? 2034. So, final price is 102. That's very reasonable. And then 34. So 194. That's actually way lower than I was expecting. Okay. That's not a bad price, honestly. I would say that's very Kickstarter reasonable. I would say, dare I say it, I think that's actually pretty Kickstarter good. Like, for a minis game like this, I was expecting to pay at least $300. Steamforged Games has to deliver 2 to 3 games that are not grindfest for me to ever back a game from them. Yeah, so Pax brings up a great point here. I'm just focusing mostly on all these unfulfilled games and where they are in the process. But yeah, as I mentioned, just a litany of people saying these rule booklets. I had to do a house rule. Once I did this, the game was better. Once I did this, the game was better. And it's really concerning. It's really concerning. And that's a lot of mouths to feed. That's a lot of mouths to feed if there's any... Okay. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with that. FAQ. I really want to back the campaign, but I can't. What can I do? You can back $1 and then come back later, and we got it. And that's the other thing I do want to mention, too. If you really are interested in this game, but you're like, I'm a little bit concerned, one thing you can 100% do, and I noticed this really, really consistently throughout their updates, because they have tons and tons of updates, and their customer service, it's so annoying. They're like, go check out update number 27, as we mentioned. It's like, they routinely run deals. This is when they were talking about when they were trying to get more money from people at Elden Ring, and you say Bard's Song, the all-in was $410, now it's $205. If you really want this game, just back it for $1, and chances are you're probably going to be able to get it really, really cheap later on. All right, but let's check out the comment section, see if it's a flaming dumpster fire. Part of me hopes it is. I really do. Because, awareness is just... How will they know if they're part of the original pledge? I'm in a buck in case SFG decides to offer the previous content. I won't back for just Iceborne. And I wonder if they will do that. That'd be a choice. Hi, just a question. I bought Monster Hunter World, the guy that plays us every weekend. Now he transferred 6 months ago and we don't have any contact. Missing the original campaign. Would want to pick it up in the meantime. Will the monster reveals be shown in the update section of the Kickstarter? Yes. Okay. Yeah, that does seem like a really good price. Will the rule booklet be right back up? Working on it. Apologies for the delay. It should be working now. Oh, cool. I do want to check that out a little bit. So, final grade on this one. As I said right from the jump, I'm going to give it an F. Just from a personal standpoint, I don't believe. I do not believe. I am out. And I think the last one, I gave him like an A-, a B+. I thought they did a lot of things that were really good, or maybe it was even lower than that. I don't even know. But this one, I've seen too many other companies that have had too many problems that look like their problems. About this rule booklet, how to win, contents. Where's the setup? Can I have the setup? Can I have the setup? Can I have the setup? There it is, setup. Cool. Numbered? No, not numbered. Okay. Yeah. So, final grade for this one. Assuming that we're just judging this based on the Kickstarter page, how much is it? I think is definitely the best thing here. It does look like a very good price to me. Like a very good Kickstarter price. $100 for this massive box. Very reasonable. Once again, most people not getting that. $200 for 3 big boxes and a small box with expansion, and they're going to show us this as they progress. And I imagine that's them learning their thing. Because here's the other thing with Elden Ring, and why I speculate that they just didn't hit stretch goals. That was the most pre-launched game on Kickstarter's history. Like, more people said, sign me up to know about this game than any other project. Not game, project in the history of Kickstarter. And yet, it only did what it did. It still did very, very well for most games. The price worries me, to be honest. Yeah, it does. It also worries me because that means they're probably mass-producing the living snot out of this one. Which... yeah. Do I want it? No. Not really. I don't think it did much to set itself apart, but it does have a rule booklet. It does have a full how to play. It has a robust, it's got tons and tons of videos from content creators that they flew out to show the game to. They flew them to them, by the way. They didn't fly out to these people. It was like, okay, enough of that. So can you do it? I don't feel comfortable with it. But they have put out big stuff before. But just having 6 and 38 boxes, just one screw up, 2 screw ups here and there, and it's just the whole stack of cards falls down. It does have a rule booklet. They did get it updated there. So can you do it? How much is it? Nice. Do I want it? Maybe. I'd have to do the research, but at the end of the day, how do you grade something like this? How do I grade something like this when I literally don't think that it will get to you? Incomplete? No. We're not going to take a chicken's way out. This is a short page, too. I will give him that. D. I'm just going to go D. I don't even know. How do you grade this? It's just look at all the plastics, look at all this. If I were a Monster Hunter fan, I think it's a higher grade, though. But, yeah. Are you going to do ITU? That's the big one. Is that the, yeah, what is, so, yeah, I think I'm covering that tomorrow. That's Aeon's Trespass. What is ITU? They also have red flags, 1 unfinished campaign, KF, and 1 printed. Didn't they even talk about a single mechanic of the game? Is it action-based cards or what? If it won't deliver, it's an F. And that might just be me being cautious. Like I don't even know. I'm gonna go with a D. I'm gonna go with a D, but I wouldn't risk my money on it. Because here's at the end of the day, as soon as this project is wrapped, you are not their top priority. And I saw that time and time again when you go and check out the updates in the comment sections on their previous campaigns. And here's the other thing. Do you really think they're not going to launch just another project in about 3 to 6 months? Because Rivet Wars, this was September 2022. Elden Rings, this was November 2022. Euthanasia, however the hell you pronounce that. That was 7. So it's like the July, August 2022. Like maybe ship out some more stuff before you just start going back to the well and these massive Aeon's Trespass. Yes, I am covering that one tomorrow. And yes, Zenster, apparently I'm going to have to do a little bit more research at that one too. So, hey, when were the days that you could just cover Kickstarter and I didn't have to worry about their terrible track record? Yeah. I'm going to go with the D. Monster Hunter World Iceborne, the board game, just probably don't. Just don't. Just don't do it. Because at the end of the day, you and I both know that you're probably going to be able to get it on super deep discount if you're willing to wait a year and a half, 2 years after it launches. And even maybe not even that long. Especially if they need more money, if they're hard up for cash. Which, judging from their Elden Ring and the dual-layered boards, which we had no idea that people would want in their deluxeified game that they're paying $364 plus the shipping. Some credit, they've delivered super fast on some projects and take forever on others. Yeah, and that is the one thing. They've put out games. Devil May Cry, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. Those are out. But I got my spidey sense tingling. I've been in this hobby for 11 years. I've been covering Kickstarter games for 10 or 11 years. And they just have all the smoke that you smell around a company who is about to just be like, yeah, sorry, we're out. Because it is, yeah. D. Very, still a D. Let me know in the comments below what's your final grade. As always, thanks for your time, you too.